So we're doing the deeper version of body, being, balance, and business, which revolves around choice management. So we're going deeper on the categories of each of them so that those of you that have reached out for that information, we can give it to you. So Ezra, our camera guy, is going to ask me some questions so that we can go deep on it and have some live conversation.
Would you say that choice management is like the most important aspect of a person's life? Like, I mean, how does choice management trickle down into all these four categories that we're talking about?
Yeah. I think choice management is the number one thing in life for you to focus on because for me, I mean, I'm later in life just learning the difference between that time management and choice management. I've always been focused on time management. So, are you time blocking? Are you scheduling? What's your calendar look like? While all of those things are important, it really revolves around choice management. What did you say yes to that ultimately you had to say no to? What did you say no to that allowed you to say yes to something else? Did you say yes to the things that are most important to you in your life? So, with that said, the categories in life to focus on, no matter what, are the body, being, balance, and business. So, where are you saying no to things in those categories that you really need to be saying yes to? And so that's what our video really was revolving around is when you focus on these four categories and you say yes to the things that you must on a daily basis, the trajectory of success, of happiness, of freedom, you should absolutely be on.
Was there like an aha moment when you discovered this sort of thing? Or did it kind of like.
Yeah, I think it was definitely, it brought an enormous amount of clarity because when you are focused, and I'm sure people listening to this video, when you're so focused on time management, um, it can feel stringent, it can feel stifling, it can feel frustrating because you don't know if you should schedule everything, which you shouldn't. So from the moment you wake up, I mean, people schedule their sleep and they schedule, what am I doing exactly when I wake up? And then, oh my God, it's 5 minutes past what I was supposed to be doing next. And it becomes this race against the clock. And that's no lifestyle to have, right? I mean, we should definitely have a schedule that we abide by. And certainly, me, I live and die by my calendar. I don't say yes to anything until I've referenced it. Um, but I'm not scheduling out my every single minute of every single day. So when I looked at it more as choice management of what am I saying yes to? If I say yes to a meeting with you, am I having to say no to anything else? Of course, I'm saying no to something. So what is it? And just making sure that I'm staying in the categories and making sure I'm hitting them. If I'm saying yes to something extra, am I saying no to working on my being? That's not an option. And weighing it that way instead of the time management of, no, I can't say yes to you because I scheduled this and we can't miss it.
Yeah. How do you,
difference.
Maybe this goes into the four categories of how do you find what's important to you? Like, how do you weigh, like, I should say yes to this and I should say no to that?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
how do you discover
find clarity around that? So and that's why we break it down into these categories, is so that you can really decipher what is the 20% I need to focus on to move the needle in the right direction for my body. What's the 20% of my being that I need to focus on right now that I'm either weak in or I need to stretch further in because I want to master it, and doing that in each of them. So balance and rhythm, the same thing, and then business. What do I need to focus on in each of these every single day to move in the right direction? And a lot of times people make excuses, right? They'll just simply make, I didn't have time. I'm too busy. You hear it all the time, especially in our industry and worldwide. I didn't have time. I'm too busy. How do you do it? How are you doing it all? How are you in shape? And I'm not just saying for me, for the people that you look at and you strive to be as they are and do as they do and have as they have. Those are usually the three questions. I don't have time. How do you have time? I don't have the energy. How do you have the energy? Right. And if you just simply are looking at these categories, and let's say for you, if we're talking about, you're 22 and let's say your goal is to be able to lift a certain amount, right? Just you're working on strength. So then you look at that. What do I need to do over the course of 30 days? Do a 30-day chunk, break it down like we do in the 411. What do I need to do on a daily basis to hit my weekly goal, to then hit my monthly, to hit my annual? And you will. I mean, I look at someone in our organization who, in the body area, and this goes with the being. He started doing a class with someone else on our team who is phenomenal. She owns a gym. She does this, boot camp like nobody's business. No one can beat her, and she's very focused on that. And so this guy was like, well, I'm going to beat you for sure. I'm competitive. I work out. I'm younger. I'm going to do this. And he started out being 20 minutes behind her in this boot camp. And now 6 months later, he's only 2 minutes behind her. And he's like, I'm coming for you. It's going to happen. So it was the same thing, right? It was just a focus on the body and being. I'm not going to give up. He was throwing up every single class. And he was saying, hey, part of the course, right? I just got to get better and better. And the more I practice and the more I do this consistently, my results are going to show up. And now they are. So same thing.
So really, like in your life, how has focusing on maybe one of these specifically, or overall, how has this actually like benefited you in your business or in areas that you're trying to improve on?
Yeah. I think the biggest area that this has served me well in is focusing on the habits I would need in each of these categories to be where I want to be eventually. So instead of a good friend of mine, Jake Herbert, sent me a video one time about habits versus goals. And it could not be more true. When we make a goal, we tend to do everything in our power, right? We surge out of rhythm to make sure we're hitting that goal in that temporary moment. And then once we've hit it, we kind of unwind. Like now we celebrate, we unwind. So I'll give you a tangible example. You're 250, you want to hit 200. Over the course of several months, you hit 200 and you're surging, you're focused entirely on that. You're doing the habits it takes to get there. You hit the 200, you go and celebrate, now you're 215. You ate pizza, you had beer, you're so excited. You took a week or two out of the gym, you stopped focusing on it, and now you're back in that sick cycle, right? Now you're like, oh crap, I gotta get back to 200. So I'm gonna focus on that, and you never get out of it, right? So you're never really making progress. You're just in a cycle of, I'm back here, now I'm gonna go here. Back here, now I'm gonna go here. Instead of saying, hey, in the body category, I'm gonna focus on the habits I should in order to live a healthy lifestyle. So whether it's simply stretching and going to yoga regularly so that you have flexibility, that becoming a lifestyle versus my goal is I want to do the middle splits at 40. And then what?
Yeah.
Like, why is that the goal? Let's focus on just doing the habits, and perhaps that's, a result of what I have been working on, but it's not the goal. The goal is simply to just have flexibility and stretching.
I think that goes into the rhythm category as well. Like you have your habits, and sometimes you might fall out of it. Like, is it okay to just be like to like understand like, yeah, I've slipped out of my habits, and like, for a week or so, and then I guess part of the rhythm part is just how do you get back into the rhythm of where you're going, like you said in the video, accepting that and moving forward.
Yeah. So I think that's where, again, these categories are so relevant and really important because we're human. We're going to make mistakes. Life happens, and perhaps you fall out of the rhythm that's working really well for you, or you're creating a new one. So the being part, where you have a really strong mindset, you're really clear on what you want to do in life, what your purpose is, where you're going, even if it's just for the moment, because we evolve as human beings, so those things can change. That way you can get right back into it, right? So it's okay if you fall off, accepting like, hey, I don't like the results that are showing up. Where have I fallen out of rhythm, or where have I not been focusing, and why? Discovering that, and then getting right back into, hey, this is where I want to be in life. This is where it feels best. I feel on top of the world when I'm in my rhythm of hitting the 4Bs. And just making sure you're aware. I mean, we talk a ton about awareness. How many times do I celebrate? Well, hey, the first step is awareness. Way to go. Like, that's truly it. The second step is showing up. So those two things alone, you're 80% of the way there. The rest of it's pretty simple.
I guess my last question would be, would you say that there's the most important B out of the 4Bs?
Ooh, most important.
And maybe there's not the most important.
Yeah, I think they all rely on one another. I mean, you can't really be winning or successful or hitting your stride in one without the other. So could you, like on the surface level, could you be a bodybuilder and be knocking it out of the park in the body division? Absolutely. But if your mind isn't strong, if your rhythm in which you're going at, like, is this sustainable forever? Probably not. Are you aware of that? I don't know. If you're not focusing on any of the other things and you're only focused on the body, chances are the business portion, the mind portion, and the balance portion are a little out of whack. So it's not sustainable if you're not focused on all four. I think, and that's the biggest thing is how do we hit the stride that's sustainable and pivot as we need to with an awareness around all four. I could just shut everything down and go be a yoga instructor in Thailand and live my best life doing headstands and handstands all over the world. Is that going to serve my family well? Is that going to serve the organization that I wanted to have here well? Is that serving my ultimate purpose of impacting others in this world well? I don't know, probably not. So I'm focused on one and nothing else.
So I guess from what I'm hearing, the tangible advice for someone who wants to focus on the 4 B's would be figure out the 20% of the things that are going to move the needle forward in each category and then make your choices around that.
Yes, correct. You got it. You nailed it. Yeah.
So people should go do that, right?
Yeah, the 20% in each category. So your body, what's your 20% there? What are you focused on? What you as a 22-year-old are focused on is probably not what I am going to be focused on as a woman who is just a tiny bit older than you.
It's tiny. So a couple of years, give or take.
It's barely. We have very similar birthdays. So being really aware of that. A lot of times we compare ourselves in social media realm. We're comparing ourselves to other people and really being focused on, hey, where am I at? What do I want to accomplish? And then just, getting the 20% version in each of those categories. So your business, what are you focused on? Right now, I don't know if you were just in that conversation. Someone just said, so how's business going? Where are you guys at as a team? And our focus right now is internal. It's internal to get external. I don't want to be on a roller coaster. I don't want my people on a roller coaster. I want to create a really strong foundation so people are on a sustainable trajectory of success.
Gotcha.
Boom. That's what you guys should do. 20% in the 4 B's. And then move balance to rhythm, because you are going to surge when something's new to you, when you're working on a project, when you're really micro focused on anything. You're going to surge in that area and accept that. That's totally okay. That's the rhythm you're in, and then you'll be in a new rhythm once you break through that ceiling. Stop looking for balance.